this movie is just like The Thing, but instead of Kurt Russell, we have Japanese girls. So we are back in the wild and depraved world of Guerra, except this time it's not actually that depraved, because unlike his previous films that I've covered, this one is not really a sexploitation, it's just straight up horror. The film starts with a Star Wars type scroll, except instead of telling us a story we don't care about, it explains to us the backstory of the film. Just like the Carpenter classic, we have a story of an alien thing taking human forms. And instead of the galaxy, the scroll is set to a background of some very disgusting looking shit. And I mean that literally, because the close-up of the monsters look like a steaming pile of shit that's been left in the sun way too long and it's starting to develop worms. Anyways, after that we are introduced to the cast of characters. It's a group of 4 Japanese girls that are probably college students, and they look to be on vacation. And this entire 3-minute sequence is supposed to show us the character's character. But all we get is that one of the girls is kind of a brat. And the rest of the characters, well, they don't have personalities. Like at all. We are shown the house that the film will actually take place, because don't forget that this is a very low budget Japanese film made by Guerra, so there's only one set. And it's a house. And this house is the weirdest Airbnb you'll ever find. The housekeeper is this weird looking archaeologist who straight from the get-go looks sussy. And indeed, she's more sus than a character from Among Us. While our group of ladies are having fun, one of them is looking through the window and she sees some weird shit swimming around in the pool. She decides that she'll be exploring the house. When she does that, we get a small peek at the movie's monster, which is of course a tentacle. Which I expected this movie to get very graphic as soon as I saw that, because you know, it's Guerra, but no! I'm sorry, perverts of the world. The tentacle won't go into coochie. When she goes down the basement, we see the archaeologist get out of a door, and she looks very stressed. Zebra Girl mentions the awful smell, and the archaeologist is like, "Yo bitch, just mind your business, I'll mind my beeswax, get it?" Then the girls are having a little swim, but during that time the archaeologist gets into their room to break every mirror. She breaks like 3 mirrors, that's like 21 years of bad luck. During their swimming session, one of the girls gets a little cut on her arm, and the archaeologist decides to blame it on an invisible weasel. Which is not the best excuse I've ever heard. Then one of the girls takes care of the one that just got cut, and she decides to go get some colas. In the meanwhile, the cut girl realizes that all the mirrors have been broken. And then we get our first tentacle attack. Which again doesn't mean what you're expecting. I swear on who? I don't believe in God. Who's the closest person I know to God? I swear on Jess Franco it doesn't get rapey. Anyways, the tentacle do come out of the mirrors to attack the girl that cut herself. And even though the visual effects in this film look amazing, the sound effects are another thing. No, it's not like Daisuke Yamanuchi's Red Room, but the monster does sound like he keeps on farting. And again, the archaeologist tries to find some bullshit excuse, and this time she blames bats. Yeah, isn't there something else happening right now that has something to do with bats? The next day, the girl who got attacked decides to stay home while the girls go on their little trip. She goes back downstairs to look at the mirror, but this time instead of just getting bitten, she gets sucked into the mirror. Then we see one of my favorite things from this movie, and it's the practical effects. They are very much inspired by The Thing. I mean, the whole movie is, but holy shit do they look good for what is presumably a very low budget film. And again, it's tentacle and gore galore. Honestly, this film will please any go-round out there. After the amazing gore, we get back to our characters. And they attack the archaeologist to know the truth. And she warns them not to do anything stupid because they'll get killed. One of the girls gets the keys to the basement and she gets again sucked in with the monster, and we get another amazing gore scene. And we get also some pretty wide shots of the monsters, and honestly, for this movie's budget, I'm pleasantly surprised in every way. With the archaeologist, the two other girls go downstairs and the monster gets loose. Well, I really enjoyed it for what it was. It's a fun way to spend 40 minutes, even though it's not Guerra's best work in my opinion, because it honestly lacks the edge of In Trails of a Virgin and In Trails of a Beautiful Woman. By that I mean a giant cock monsters that kill people. It's still a very entertaining, fun way to spend 40 minutes. The gore is pretty incredible for this movie's budget, and well, the rest of the movie is a bit iffy there. The characters are very interesting. There is no really tension building up. Like I said, the introduction to the film makes it sound like it's gonna be Japanese The Thing, but the only similar thing really is that there's a lot of gore, the gore is very similar, and at the end we get that monster that transforms into another being. But most of the film, the monster is a monster that murders young women. But for any fan of 80s Japanese gore films, this one is not to miss. And honestly, this cinematography and everything else is just like Guerra's other work, and it's good. It's not the best, but at least it was shot on film, so it doesn't have that video look if you're not into it, and overall, it's a pretty fun movie. Anyways, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.